Don't think for a moment that we got where we were without the slightest difficulty, just paddled along, fanned by tropic breezes. We didn't. And the worst of our troubles began and never ended when we picked up the orchid hunter. There was nothing much doing until we were well up the Magdalena, past where you take the overland route for Bogota. The river, before that point, had been alive with alligators, which made it unhealthy for anacondas, and, as anacondas were our main objective, we did not waste time on shore looking for other kinds of snakes. Once beyond the Bogota connection, however, we anchored and put off in a skiff to explore a small tributary. There we took our first big water snake, right at the mouth, and a pretty struggle we had too. After carrying it aboard our flatboat, we went up farther, and, a mile from the main river, came upon the most incongruous craft, deserted and tied to the bank, that you can possibly imagine in the middle of South America. It was a 30-foot launch, decked over, brave with white paint and brass fittings, the simple engine built to burn wood, and the most perfectly appointed thing I have ever seen. Hardly had we finished examining it and got back into our own boat when there was a wild chorus of yells from the jungle, the spat, spat, spat of an automatic, and a lanky white man jumped on deck, cast off the line, and, dodging into the cabin, let the launch go with the current. The air was instantly full of that sharp, whistling sound that I had learned, on a previous trip, to associate with the tiny poisoned arrows the natives shoot from their bamboo blowguns, and I promptly yanked our boat around under the protection of the bulwarks of the larger craft. For 5 minutes, as we were carried swiftly down the stream, we all lay low, and then the white man put his head over the side of the launch. He had about as disagreeable a face as I have ever looked upon. Very high forehead, long pointed nose, thick lips, and the longest curved white teeth I have ever seen in a human being's mouth. They were more like an animal's than a man's, and his first remark was quite in keeping with his appearance.
"Who in the devil are you, pray?"
It made me mad, of course. White men are not only polite to one another in the jungle through motives of policy, but also because they are generally really glad to see a face of their own color. "This is King Robert Bruce, late of Scotland," I answered, "and if you include me in your polite inquiry, allow me to present myself as the Archbishop of Canterbury."
"None of your nonsense," he snarled. "I want to know who you are."
And he actually threw an automatic on us.